Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Conversations with Buddy. Just a quick shout out to The Rec for hosting this podcast each week. The Rec, way more than a bowling alley. And by the way, some of you have been asking, what is The Rec? So let me just give you a quick description, and then I'll get back into the podcast. The Rec is a public access community center where the general public can just come in and have fun with bowling and entertainment. And it's a place where young people and community members can connect to programs to enhance their life. So come, have a bowl time with your family and bowl, and just check out what we're doing. So back to the podcast. We drop a new podcast every Friday morning with a new story that will impact someone. We hope that someone is you. Thank you to all the listeners each week who take the time to hear the stories of our guests. Please take a moment to subscribe to our podcast, give us a review, and share our podcast with your friends, family, and on your favorite social media platform. We want to get these messages out to the people and to impact the world one testimony at a time. This morning, I'm excited and grateful to introduce you to my guest and friend, Aaron Qualls. Welcome, Aaron.
Good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Brother, it's good to have you here, man. You know, I don't know when we originally met, but I know I see you at the gym all the time, which is cool.
Yeah.
You're probably there more than I am. I'm pretty sure of that.
A little bit, maybe.
A little bit. But can you think of a time when we actually met? How did we meet?
Thinking back when we possibly met, it's been a while. I mean, probably at some networking event, I imagine, in maybe the real estate industry or something along those lines. But you know, I've lived in Salem my entire life, so I'm sure we've crossed paths one way or another.
Yeah, for at least 5-10 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, hey, let me do a quick intro of who you are, and then we'll just dive into some questions and I'm going to ask you some hard questions. I hope that's okay.
I love hard questions.
You're a tough guy, man. Okay, so Aaron, you are a husband. Your wife is Stephanie.
Correct.
How long have you guys been married?
We are coming up on 20 years. It'll be 20 years, March 27th.
Is that crazy or what?
Yeah.
Does it feel like 20 years have just flown by? Or
You blink and it's gone. It's crazy how fast it does fly.
You're a father of 4 amazing daughters. Yep. So how's that feel to be a girl dad?
I love it. I love it. I love being the father of daughters. My oldest is, so Shayla is 16, okay. Maddie is 15, Peyton is 12, and I have a 6-year-old Emerson. Wow. And it's just they're spread out. Wow. And it's fun seeing the different stages of life and the nuances of being a girl dad. Yeah. And you're done having kids? As far as I'm told.
Okay.
I was my wife said, we're done.
We're done. Okay. So. What the wife says goes. You've been coaching youth sports in Salem for over 23 years. You're the owner of Qualls Insurance Agency. How long has that been?
Coming up on 8 years now.
Time flies. Who'd you work for before?
So before I got into the insurance industry, I actually worked for Winco Foods in Woodburn at the distribution center. So throwing freight, working warehouse work.
You did. I did not know that about you.
Yeah.
I just only know you in insurance, so I think you've been doing this for 20 years, but apparently not.
Feels like it.
Okay. 75 hard and a 75 hard completer and advocate. And so what is the live hard part of it, the 75 hard and live hard? What's
the live hard component? So 75 hard is the first piece, the 75 days. The live hard component is really, it's an entire year. Think of an entire year. So you have 75 hard, and then after that you have 3 phases, 30-day phases that adds stuff to it, like a cold shower or 3 more critical tasks. And those are 30-day periods. So if you fail, you can start over those 30 days. But with a caveat, the third and final phase, it starts 30 days before your 1-year anniversary.
Oh, so it forces you to get into it.
It forces you. And if you fail that third phase, you can't start that one over. You basically, I'm not saying failed the whole year because you've succeeded, but the whole goal is to complete that year. So that last 30 days is crucial.
That's cool, man. So you're born and raised here in Salem. What high school did you go to?
McKay High School.
Okay.
Go Scots.
There you go. Fitness enthusiast. Did I say that right? Enthusiast?
Yeah.
And motivator. I love that, dude. It's pretty cool. Well, let's just kind of dive in. So, how old are you?
I just turned 40 years old this year.
Happy 40th.
Yeah.
Okay.
40 and sexy.
40 and sexy. I love it. I love it. Well, so talk to me a little bit about growing up in Salem, kind of what was life like early on? What were your parents like? How did they influence who you are? And then we're going to talk a lot about 75 Hard because I think people need to hear discipline. You told me just right before this, you feel undisciplined. I only see you as disciplined. I see you at the gym. I love your pictures on Facebook. Like, I'm doing it. It's not a brag. I'm here doing it. I think it's an encouragement.
It's a little bit of a brag, but it's also to push people because I've seen the positive side of it.
Yeah.
And well, we can talk more about that, but when I first started 75, but
yeah. Cool. Okay. So start off from the beginning, man. I want to hear.
All right. Born and raised here in Salem, went to McKay High School, grew up in Northeast Salem, Adam Stevens Elementary. My parents were amazing. Okay. I grew up in a Christian household. My grandpa was a pastor for a number of years. He's retired now. My dad is he's one of my idols because I always saw him work so hard. He'd get up at 3 a.m, drive to Portland, work, come home, and be at our sports games that same afternoon. So he worked tremendously hard. For 20 years, he made that commute. And he did it because he wanted to give our family an amazing life. And I think he did. My mom was a stay-at-home mom for most of my younger years. And she kind of just, had the home on lockdown. She helped us kids, took us to school, helped us with whatever we needed. She was amazing as well as a mother. And so growing up and going to McKay, it's a lot different over in that McKay nowadays. I mean, it was a school. I loved it. I met my wife at McKay High School.
You did?
We met when I was 15 years old and she was 14. So I've known my wife for 25 years. We're high school sweethearts.
That's a great story.
It's a great story. To think about it, because I have kids who are 16 and 15. It's like they are the same age that I was when I met my wife. To think about that, and it's like, man, it's crazy. So they're potentially going to meet someone here soon. Maybe. I mean, maybe that's not the norm nowadays, but we've known each other a long time. Graduated from McKay, tried the college thing, didn't really work out for me. So I jumped in and started working at Winco and worked there for 12 and a half years. And it was an amazing job. I loved it. I took pride in working there. A lot of people you throw in freight, you make a decent wage, but I took pride in it because my grandpa, my papa, who's no longer here, who was another mentor in my life, he did that same type of work. So I said, okay, this is, I'm going to put everything I can into this job because you really work for what you want, not necessarily what you have. Meaning, that's a great job, but it's a stepping stone to maybe something greater. So I treated that job and gave that job my 100% and 110% every single day because I needed to work for something bigger than myself.
That's awesome. Sounds like I was just going to ask, sounds like your grandpa really influenced you as a mentor. You use the word mentor. I'm all about mentoring. The Rec, Valor Mentoring is about mentoring. And it sounds like your grandpa had a huge influence in your life. And so you do things with pride. You worked at Winco, throwing freight around, but you did it with pride. Talk about that. You mentioned your dad getting up early, 3 a.m. and driving, to take care of the family. And that matters to you. And how does that influence who you are as a dad today?
How it really influences me is he really taught me a strong work ethic. Meaning, it's okay. It's good to work hard, but family is important too. Money is needed to survive and pay bills, food, lodging, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it's just $1, and you can always make another $1. But the connection with the family and my kids and going to trying to make every one of their sporting events, and it doesn't always happen, but knowing that I'm going to be there and I'm going to work as hard as I can to provide them a great life. I learned that from my dad. And so hopefully they learn that from me and it passes on from generation to generation, how hard he worked, just the work ethic alone. That's why I do insurance now. That's why I can help who I can help. It's because those things I learned at a young age and not just did the bare minimum. Because I'm not a bare minimum guy. Because if you do the bare minimum, you're going to get the bare minimum.
Wow. Okay, so you guys go to high school. At what point in time do you go, hey, Stephanie is the lady I'm going to marry? When do you propose? What's that look like? I'm curious about that.
I knew that 2 years before I even proposed to her.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So I had a ring. Back there, didn't have a ton of money because my first job was Chuck E. Cheese. I was working at Chuck E. Cheese,
man.
And then once I got out of high school, I was actually working 3 jobs before the Winco. So I was working at Chuck E. Cheese. I was doing a paper route, and I was also working for my dad in Portland. So I was doing a lot because I knew I needed to work hard, and I was trying to pay for college while I was working because I didn't want to take out student debt, student loans. I don't know why I had that mindset, but that's where I was. And so I knew 2 years before, and I said, okay, if we get married on March 27th, 2004, which is the day we got married, it's exactly 5 years from the day we met, from the day we started dating.
No
and
way.
It fell on a Saturday. So I was like, okay, here's my plan. I'm going to ask her to marry me a year before, and we're going to get married on this day. And it just, everything kind of fell into place. It's crazy how you look at your life and you look back on the things that have happened and got you to where you are today.
Yeah.
You can look at a thin thread that ties everything together. Things happen for a reason. You know, you meet somebody, you are in a certain situation that opens up opportunities for you. So there's really a thin thread through your life. If you really look for it, it's there on how you got to where you are today.
Your mom and dad still married?
No, divorced. They got divorced a year after I was out of high school.
Yeah. Marriage is hard.
It
Which
is.
is really one of my questions I want to ask is, you and Stephanie have been married almost 20 years.
Almost 20 years.
Yeah. And what's the plan on the next 20 and then the 20 after that? How have you thought about that? You're a disciplined guy. You're a long-term vision. You're a believer. How do you pray through that it's going to last? Because I think every marriage is tested.
Mm-hmm.
Mine's been tested many times.
Oh, yeah.
And I hear stories every day. It's a tragedy. You know, divorce happens.
Mm-hmm.
Like it or not, divorce happens. And for me, I think that God is using, yes, he doesn't like divorce. He hates divorce. However, the love that he has for the person, he'll allow divorce to hopefully allow enough pain in someone's life to really come to know who he is.
Yeah.
But how do you navigate marriage? How do you serve your wife? This is good for men to hear.
Mm-hmm.
You've been married for a long time. That's good. It doesn't happen by accident.
No.
So how do you do it?
A lot of hard work, some compromise, and we're a team. So my wife is amazing, and she's amazing in a couple rights. First off, the family joke is she was a cheerleader in high school, and so I was like, oh, cheerleading's not a sport, blah blah blah. And we just go back and forth. It is, but I like to razz her a little bit. But she's really our family cheerleader. So she's not always in the fight, but she's on the side cheering us on. I can't do what I do as a husband and a father without her. Together we can do amazing things. Apart, because she lifts me up, she motivates me, she believes in me when I don't believe in myself. So she's my cheerleader and she's our family cheerleader, and that's why she's so amazing. She's literally the reason that I wake up every day and try to do the best I can and strive to do the best for her and the family and provide for them. But in terms of marriage, there are ups and downs, right? There's tough times and there's good times.
Yeah.
It's life. It ebbs and it flows. So what we've done to kind of get us through 20 years and like, what's the next 20 years look like and the 20 years after that? Because yes, we want to remain married and we love each other. We've decided we're married, but we're boyfriend and girlfriend. We date.
We date.
Okay? We want to model a great...
Get that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
We date.
We want to model a great relationship for our kids. So it's kind of our motto that we're going to gross our kids out. I'm going to hug her. I'm going to kiss her in front of them.
That's gross.
I'm going to, Dad, stop that. Oh, don't do that. I was like, you need to see that. You need to see love and not just get so wrapped up in life and even our kids' stuff that I've seen marriages where they fall apart because they're so wrapped up in the day-to-day and their kids and what they're going through in school and sports that once the kids are out of the house, they look at their spouse and like, I don't know who this person is in front of me. They've lost that identity. And so we made a conscious decision we're going to date, we're going to go out for coffee together. Like you said, you went on coffee with your wife, right?
Absolutely.
That's amazing. We're going to stay in the fight and get to know each other and have our time, go on date nights at least once every 2 weeks, coffee once a week, to do this stuff, to build a foundation, not only for us, but for our kids to stand on and do bigger and better and greater things than we can ever do.
Yeah. This is really cool to hear. Just it is good that you still date your wife as boyfriend, girlfriend, and that and I was thinking, you have 4 girls, man, you are in trouble because they'll find a guy eventually, Lord willing, they get married. How do you pray for your daughters? Because, by the way, your daughter's going to marry somebody a lot like you.
I know.
So the model that you create, I like this. This is good. Learning to just love your wife and date her as your girlfriend. Your girls get to see that. How do you pray for your daughters to eventually find a guy who would love her like you love your wife, how Christ loves us? How do you do that?
I do it every day. Sometimes multiple times a day. I pray that, because yes, they're getting about that age where they like to, they want to date. And so in our house, our 16-year-old is dating, our 15-year-old's not yet, because we don't let them date until we feel they're ready. And we kind of make that decision. It's usually right around 16 years old. But they do have friends. They went to homecoming recently and it was a lot of fun. But for my kids, how I pray for them is I just pray they meet a godly man, someone who loves the Lord, someone who cherishes them how I cherish them. Because we were having a conversation last night with my daughter and I said, I love you. It's my job. It's been my job for the last 16 years of your life to protect you. And I know someday someone will come in and I'll have to pass on that protection and hope that that's a good man. And, they got good heads on their shoulders. And so hopefully they meet men, and they're both seeing a couple of guys right now, and one's a friend and one's a little more than the friend.
Okay.
And so going through that process and just, making sure that it's a man who loves the Lord and has that foundation, because I know it makes it immensely tougher when, one's going to church and one's not, right? There could be that friction, and I don't want her to get, them to get pulled in the wrong direction.
Totally. Very easy to do.
Yeah.
Young age, highly emotional, and
girls emotional?
What? I know, right?
Who knew?
Who knew? No, you're definitely outnumbered in your household, so I'll be praying for you as well.
Thank you.
Hey, I love this, by the way. This is fun to talk about. Let's transition a little bit. We talked a little bit about intermittent fasting, and you're a pretty disciplined guy, in my opinion, because that's what I see. You say you're undisciplined in some ways, or maybe a lot of ways. But do you intermittent fast? Why? And then let's just dive into 75 hard, a little bit more of that journey. Like, how did that change you? Why'd you do it? Who are you today? I want to just hear some things that have changed in your life.
With intermittent fasting, I guess I am intermittent fasting, but not really. My goal is to not eat before 11, so I'll just have coffee in the morning. Okay. Just to kind of just minimize those meals. But in the past, I've, Devin.
I do.
Devin. Yeah. So I worked with him. Yeah.
Holy cow.
Guy's a beast. I worked with him for about a year. And
almost like David Goggins, but Devin Groggins?
Groggins. Yeah. I think that's how you say it. And so I worked with him and trained with him a little bit for a year, and it really helped me, because one of the pieces that I was always missing with my fitness journey was the eating portion, the diet. And I don't really call it a diet, but, eating plan.
Yeah.
Because
your lifestyle.
I always had the mentality of like, carbs are bad. You can't have carbs. He totally shifted my mindset to where, break it up into five portions. What's your goal? What are you trying to accomplish? Like right now, I want to get big. I'm going to gain some size. So, I'm taking a little more carbs in. And so I don't really intermittent fast, but I just trying to cut those meals down a little bit and to really focus on the, higher protein, getting my carbs in and making sure I get it done.
So your first meal of the day, what would that look like today?
First meal of the day will be probably a protein shake and a protein bar, something just simple.
Is there a certain amount of protein grams that you would have?
Probably right around 50 per for the first meal. So my goal is to get in 160 to 200 grams of protein a day.
Dude, how's that going?
It's going good.
Is it going good?
Yeah.
How long have you been doing that?
I've been doing that mostly for the last year or two, but really hard the last 6 months.
Really?
Yeah.
So up to 200 grams, because
Yeah.
what is the rule? You eat 1 gram of protein per body weight that you want to be?
Yeah, I think that's
like
the
that?
numbers or
All
something, or 0.9 or yeah.
This is fascinating. I've learned recently that, rather than stop eating carbs, don't focus on that. Just eat more protein, and that will eliminate the idea of wanting more carbs.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on, so you said carbs. What type of carbs are you talking about? Like a donut?
Oh, I love donuts.
Oh, man.
I love donuts. No, we talk about carbs. I mean, rice, good. We focus, try to get the good carbs. But I mean, like after a workout, it'll be like protein shake, and I got to eat some cereal, which is cool because Devin says you get to work out, you get to eat Fruity Pebbles. So I was like, I get to eat Fruity Pebbles.
Yes.
Like, yeah, that makes me want to work out.
That's motivating.
That's motivating.
Okay. Because there's carbs in that bad boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Take us down the journey of 75 hard. I want to really unpack this. 75 hard, just full confession. Mm-hmm. I've attempted it 3 times.
Yep.
9 days, 12 days, 33 days. Okay. There's progress.
In that order. So it was 9, 12, 33.
Yep.
So you're getting closer.
I'm getting closer. Did you conquer the first time you did it? What was your mindset going into it?
First time I did it, and I did complete it the first time. My mindset was, let me go back a little bit. So July 2020, COVID, everything's going on, everything's
I
shut
remember
down.
that.
You remember that?
I do.
A lot of people remember the day. Anyway, but back then I had some of my peers in insurance that were doing 75 hard. And I was like, what's this 75 hard thing? They're working out, they're getting ripped. What is this? So I did a little more research, and I was like, okay, it's a workout program. I can lose some weight and get in shape. And not that I was in bad shape, but I was roughly 233, 235.
What do you weigh right now?
Right now, 215. Stacked 215, bro.
That's right. I know. I can see the guns, man.
I brought them. I'm packing.
Gun show.
So back in July of 2020, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do the 75 hard. I'm so excited. Yeah. And like, I tweaked my shoulder, and I'll just do it later, And little things kept coming up to, there's a barbecue next week, and so I got to put it off because I might want to have a beer there, because there's with 75 hard there's no alcohol 75 days, and so I kept making these little excuses, and I woke up one day and I was like, no more. I'm going to start today. And I think it was like August 24th, 2020 is when I first started. And I just made the commitment. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it for me. I'm going to do it for my family, to become a better version of myself, because learning through that process and having, the 75 hard, it's not a workout program. It's not a weight loss program. It's a mental toughness program. Can you be tough enough mentally to get through that process and complete it? Because I guarantee you'll get to day 70. You get to day 65. Me laying in my bed, staring at my ceiling, day 70, 5 more days, and I completed this thing. Looking and staring at my ceiling, I do not want to get up and work out. I quit right now. But something inside me dragged me, pulled me out of bed, and I got it done. And I completed it because I was mentally and physically exhausted. Can you fight through that? It's kind of like life, right? Yeah. Stuff happens. When someone kicks you in the nuts, you're going to move forward, you're going to stay on the ground, or you're going to get up and keep pushing.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so your day 70, to me, it seems like there would be enough momentum to propel you. And I bet you there's a key factor of momentum. It's like, now I'm at the tail end. I know I'm tired. I don't really want to. I'm going to go do it. So fast forward now, you not only did it 75 days, at that moment, did you continue to the rest of the year, or is that another phase? Is that a different time?
You can take time in between. And so it's really weird. Day 76, once I completed it, I bought a couple 75 hard shirts. Like, this is my prize. They're sitting on in my room. I'm looking at them every day. Once I complete it, I get to wear them. And so I took a pic at the last day. And I think I shot a video on my very last workout. Just super excited that I got through 75 days. But I didn't jump right back in. But day 76, it felt so weird because doing 2 workouts a day for 75 days, and then all of a sudden I don't have to. I was like, I was antsy. I felt like I should be doing something. So you know what I did?
You worked out. 2
workouts, baby.
It just became
just because.
Well, you created
it became lifestyle.
Lifestyle was no longer. It was habit, but it became a lifestyle, which is probably the next phase after habit. Okay, I got a new habit, but now it's not just a diet; it's a lifestyle. It's not a workout. It's not a weight loss program. It's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle, and that's what it is. Creating that lifestyle, not saying, "Hey, this is a program," because a lot of people will tab it. Weight loss program, fitness program, but no, if you don't have the mental toughness to push through. Yes, you'll lose weight because I went from like 233, 235 down to like 190.
You did?
Yeah. Dropped some weight.
Oh.
And every day you take a progress picture.
Oh, yeah.
So 233, I would look at myself in the mirror. I say, you look pretty good. You're a good looking guy. Right? You start doing 75 hard and take a progress picture every day. By day 30, you start seeing a little difference. Right? But when you look at yourself every day in the mirror and nothing's changing.
Right.
You think you're good. But after 75 days, I put those pictures next to me. I was like, I look like I got stung by a bee. I was like, that's my motivation. I don't ever want to go back to that.
Okay.
And then I got a weight vest and I threw 30 pounds on the weight vest. I was like, this is what I've been carrying around. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. Dude, that is awesome. So how has 75 hard changed you now? Because that was back in 2020. You've done the 75 hard. You've done the full year.
Yep.
Are you currently now back in 75 hard?
I'm on day 40, baby.
Day 40. How many times have you done 75 hard?
So just the one time. And I've done little clips where like in between like phase 2 and 3 where there was quite a few months. I was like, I'm bored. I'm going to do 75. So I did like a 43-day stint and then stopped. And so I have failed a few times. I've done a 30-day stint and it just little clips of getting back to that habit. So I've not completed it a second time. So it's a little different this time.
Yeah, like you're committed to the 75 days.
Yeah. And trying to do 75 hard after the first time I completed it. The first time I had I don't say a real reason, but I needed to lose weight. I needed a change in my life. I felt stagnant. I felt unmotivated. Yeah. That's why I really kind of started doing it. I was like, okay, COVID's going on. The world's shut down. Everyone's kind of in a holding pattern, not really doing anything. I said, if I can find something that can push me forward and propel me. And so I'm on a full on sprint when everyone else decides to start moving and I'm 100 yards down the road, I'm going to be that much further ahead personally, in business, family. And so I got tired of just being okay.
Yeah.
I got tired of just being, it's an okay day. It's an average day.
So just hearing you real quick, sometimes people go, man, I want to lose weight. I want to have that 6-pack abs. They look at the pleasure or the carrot, but what I hear you saying is like, I never want to go back to that person. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And you kind of lived on the pain to make some of those changes. Is that how what I'm hearing from you?
Yeah. Yeah. It's the pain. It's when you finally achieve something and you look back on it and you say, okay, I see what I can do. What am I capable of? Now for me, it's like, how can I push myself, or what can I do to push myself to the next limit, next level?
Yeah.
How can I push myself personally, emotionally, push me in my faith, my marriage? What can I do to be the best version of myself every single day? And especially with 75 hard, if you look at it as a whole, you're like, first couple weeks, you're so excited. You're like, yeah, let's do this thing, 75. And then the shine kind of wears off, right?
Yep.
Then it gets a little tougher.
Yeah.
Then you got to dig in. you start learning that grit, start developing that fortitude. Like, can you do it? Can you push through? Can you push through tough times? And for me, with the whole 75, you can't look at it, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? If you look at it in your day 5, you're like, oh crap, I got 70 days left on this thing. What am I going to do? No, you don't have 70 days.
And that is a problem right there. We're trying to eat the elephant one. Instead, no, today's the day.
Yeah.
Do the workout this morning.
Yeah.
Do the workout this afternoon. I've seen some of your pictures at 3 a.m. That's crazy, but you're committed. You've decided you're committed. That's huge, man.
Yeah.
One of the questions that, I wanted to chat with you about, there's two. Number one, when you do fall off the wagon and you eat a cookie, you have a bad day, a bad week, a bad month, how do you transition to get back on the right road, doing the right thing? Answer that one, then I'll come back and I got another question for you after that one there.
How do you get back to it when you fall off the wagon? That's a good question, because that right there will truly define who someone is, who defines me as a man, as a husband, as a father. Because life is a journey. It ebbs and flows. There's ups, there's downs. You could be going strong for 30 days. You're working out. You're doing great on your diet. And then you talk about cookies. I love Oreos. When I go on the weekends, sometimes I come home, Mom, Dad got Oreos. It's which is, I just laugh. But eating a cookie, as me personally, can I snap back into, I'm off for a week where I'm just eating whatever, right? Am I mentally tough enough? Do I have the discipline to snap back to where I know I need to be as a, physically, with my diet? So I love it. It challenges me. It pushes me. I love it because, you go off course. Are you strong enough to get back to it?
That's the question right there.
Yeah.
That's the test.
That's the test.
Okay. And you're a guy, you fell off the wagon a time or 2 or 3 or 10, like the rest of us. But that doesn't define you. Mm-mm. And that's the key. It's like, well, I guess, no, you're not a failure. You're just failing forward. I love John Maxwell's book.
Great book.
Failing forward success is failing forward. We all fail. Get over it. Let's move on. Rub dirt in it, get back up, go do it again. Today's a new day.
Yeah.
Right? Today's a new day. The next part, the next question I have for you is, when you started to really focus on personal growth, what did that journey look like for you? Mm-hmm.
Personal growth is amazing. So something about me is I used to hate reading. I mean, even to the point where when my wife and I were newly married, and I'd bring a magazine article to her and say, hey, can you read this and kind of tell me what it's about?
Seriously.
Seriously. Bad. I got to do a book report in high school, so I'll find I'll do it on Clear and Present Danger, because I know Harrison Ford has a movie called Clear and Present Danger, and I'll just watch the movie. And I did, but I got a decent grade.
And you passed.
And I passed.
I love it.
Don't tell my teacher. But yeah, the personal growth, it's interesting, because when you start to personally grow, right? And you have your circle of friends, and maybe they're not personally growing, there's going to be some tension. So, like for me, my personal growth journey actually started back when I was at Winco. I had got some mentors in my life, and I realized I need to be better for myself, better for my family. And so I started reading, as hard as it was. And I love reading. You start growing, and then it challenges not only yourself, but everyone around you, because now it puts them on notice. Right. So I got a lot of negativity when I would sit by myself during breaks sometimes and read my book, and people start poking a little fun here and there, and it hurts, but I'm doing what I need to do to achieve what I want to achieve. Nothing comes before that. My family comes first. If you want to stay, because it really challenges people around you. And if they're not going to go that same direction, I mean, I love all my friends, but I don't have time for nonsense. I mean, God has put goals and ambitions in my life. He has a mission for me, and it's my job to complete that mission. And if you want to come along, great, let's do this. Let's rock it. We're going to go. But if not, I love you. We're still friends, but I got bigger and better things to do.
You mentioned goals and what God has planned for you. Mm-hmm. Just unpack that for a moment. I'd love to hear. Sounds like you have something in mind. And by the way, I think both of you and I would agree, you become who you hang with. Mm-hmm. Show me your 5 closest friends and I'll show you your future. I think it sounds like that's what you're kind of referring to.
It's so true.
So how have you, and I get that, we love people. You may not let them in your inner circle of who influence you.
Yeah.
You love them, you care for them, pray for them, whatever. What does that look like for you, and what's God doing right now, and what's that vision look like? I mean, it sounds like you may know where you're going.
I may sound like I know where I'm going. I kind of do. I have, as you alluded to in the beginning, I've been coaching youth sports for 23 years. I coached my first team when I was actually a junior in high school. I coached a basketball team over at Adam Stevens High School as the first team, and I was a horrible coach, but you learn over time.
That's right.
Right?
You didn't quit.
And so my calling is to impact the community around me. I mean, whether that's through sport, coaching sports or athletics. I've coached basketball, I've coached softball, I coached, high school level for a few years, and just the amazing thing of giving a young person an encouraging word and seeing what they can do. Because when you encourage somebody and you get behind them and you say, "Hey, I know you failed. I know you messed up. I know you made a mistake, but you're an awesome person. Keep pushing forward. Success is built off failures. You're just building that brick. You put that brick on that wall, build that wall.
Build that wall.
Yeah. It just, the positivity. And so I feel like I'm called to coach, and I got to do it. And it's a joy for me.
Yeah.
But to just pour into kids and teach them life lessons and say, okay, how do you create success? How do you, create successful habits? How do you put stuff in your life and the lessons I teach on the field aren't just about softball. Every lesson there you can translate to your life, to school, to later life when you're, working a job or running a business, success principles that are great on the field and in the sports arena, but also can be translated to any aspect or area of their life.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff. Hey, as we think about, as an insurance guy, business guy, you're a community guy, and I love that you love kids. I mean, that's me too. I just love kids. Mm-hmm. I just do. But how do you demonstrate, like you do with the kids on coaching them, how do you do that in the business world? How does Aaron show up for his client, for the community? What's that look like as you meet with people and serve them?
Yeah. It's kind of one and the same. Just on a you're dealing with someone who's older, right?
Yeah.
So I've always approached my business and I'm in the business of insurance is I get to coach my clients. So I coach them. I was like, this is why we're going to do this. This is why we're going to put coverages in place. This is why it's important. And really not just talk at them, but educate them and teach them on, why it's important to have certain liability limits on your auto policy, or, why do you need a life insurance policy? Well, to protect your family, in case something bad happens. So I really I educate them, and I don't sell, but I like to educate and coach my clients on, what are your goals? What do you want to accomplish? Okay, let's game plan. Let's get creative on how we can help you achieve what you want to achieve. And
that's great. I mean, that's a great way of thinking of clients. 'Cause I think we show up as sales guys and, we have a Starbucks coffee cup and we want to sell coffee, but really it's not about the coffee. It's the way we interact with our clients, our kids, and how we coach them. I think that's really serving them well. So, man, I love that. As I think about your next chapters in life, here's a question for you. What was the first book you ever read? Because you said you were reading books at Winco.
Mm-hmm.
And then what is a current book you're currently reading?
Oh, you're going to test my memory on this one. The first book I ever read when I was back.
It can be the first, maybe one that you remember.
One of the biggest ones that I remember was actually a John Maxwell book.
Oh, no kidding.
Few communicate. Everyone communicates. Few connect, I think is what it's called. I don't know if you read that one.
Never read that one. He's only got $100.
Only $100. Yeah. Okay. It was a great one. I mean, we communicate on a daily basis, right? We're communicating right now.
That's right.
You and I. But outside communication, are you really connecting with the people you're talking to? Are you talking at them? Are you talking at each other? But are you connecting on a deeper level? And so that kind of helped me learn over the years of reading people and dealing with them and like what's going on. And so that's been huge in my life. And the current book, I'm actually reading multiple books right now.
Me too. I can identify with that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I read multiple books. I'll read for 15 minutes and they'll read something else. And I'm reading a book I'm reading right now is Buy Back Your Time. That's one book I'm reading right now. And then also Tax-Free Retirement. Another book I'm reading is I just finished Greatest Salesman in the World, which is an awesome book. Have you read that one?
Oh yeah.
Love it.
Everybody should read that book.
What's that?
Everybody should read that book.
Yeah, it's like a story too. It's like it's so awesome.
As we get ready to wrap up our podcast, it's been a lot of fun, by the way, Aaron. Love hanging out with you. I'm inspired by you, by the way. I did 75 hard because you are doing it, just so you know. And maybe one day I'll finish it. I'm not going to commit to that right now, but maybe you can challenge me on that thinking.
I think you got it in you.
Okay. Hey, fun question. Like, where do you guys like to travel? What's fun for you and Stephanie and your girls? Do you guys like to travel together? Do you and Stephanie ever travel separately? Where's a fun place to go?
Fun place to go. So the most traveling we do is my daughters play, my two oldest play softball, so we get to travel a little bit for that. But we're getting ready to take a couple trips here. One around Christmas. I asked my daughters recently. I said, for Christmas, do you want presents or would you like to do like a trip?
That's a great question.
We've done that in the past where we've surprised them with trips and left on like Christmas Day, where we took when they're younger. We took them to the American Girl store up in Seattle.
Yeah.
Just little stuff like that, because we feel like building memories is more important and they'll last longer than buying them a little toy that they'll forget about in 3-4 weeks.
It's beautiful. That's really cool. That's a great question that you asked. So it was an either or. Hey, would you rather have Christmas presents or build a memory? Mm-hmm. And I'll bet you 1,000% of the time, it's like we want to spend time and build memories.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Everyone but my 6-year-old. She wants presents.
Okay.
Which is understandable. I mean, she's in that age.
She's 6. Give me some.
Yeah, I know. I
don't know what this place is.
I give her some grace.
Absolutely. We'll cut her some slack at 6.
But when we get there, when we get on the trip, she'll love it.
Yeah. Last question for you really is, what's the next chapter of your life look like? You're 40, 10 years, 20 years, legacy. What's that look like for you just as you think about if you live to 80 or 90, I'm a little older than you, so more than halfway through my life. And we never know if it's a day or 50 years.
Yeah.
How do you live this? There's a book called Halftime.
Okay.
It's like you think football, it's halftime.
Mm-hmm.
You're at halftime. You live the first part of your life. Sometimes you're building your business. It's more about me. At least I think most people do. It's halftime. This is where you make pivots, in games, and especially if you're down, you're like, okay, what do we need to do to win? Halftime. It's a great book. You should consider reading.
I'll look into it.
Yeah. What's that next chapter of your life look like as you develop legacy and stuff like that?
I think a lot about that because I think a lot about my life with the end in mind. So you think about the end, and this might sound a little morbid, but at your funeral or at my funeral, right? What are people saying about me? Mm-hmm. What are the conversations? Are they, is it a quick service? And then they're like, where's a potato salad? Or is it a long drag? what are people saying when I'm gone? What have I accomplished? And that's, it holds some weight because it brings to the front, like, am I doing something worthwhile? Am I impacting my family? Am I impacting my community around me? Because legacy is an amazing thing. And I want to build a foundation so that my kids can stand on my shoulders and do bigger and better and greater things than I ever did.
It's huge.
Because if you set them up for success, whatever that looks like, they're going to do amazing things in life. And right now, like for me, I mean, I've been in insurance 8 years. I have a great business, and I got a lot of awesome, amazing clients. I've felt a really calling on my heart that my family needs more of my time right now than it is to sell. So I've been spending more time with family. Not that I'm neglecting anything, but
no, I get it.
I felt a tug on my heart, like, hey, my kids need me. They need me around a little bit more. It's starting a new business. You probably know it's tough. It's grinding. First 3 to 5 years, you're in it a lot. And I've always included my family in my business, so it wasn't just my thing. Like my wife helps me out in my office a little bit, and it's our business. It's our kids' business. If they want it someday, they're going to come in, and we're going to do awesome things, and just build that legacy and the mindset that success is earned every single day. The rent on success is due every single day.
Yeah, heard that quote before.
Yeah.
I like how you unpack that, where you really live with the end in mind. What does the end of your life look like? What do people say about you? And what do you want them to say about you? And how can you design the life today that, honors that? So, well, hey, dude, this is good. We could probably go for another hour just talking about working out, discipline, and sports and whatever else, and, our daughters. But hey, I'm going to be praying for you, your family, your time with your family, your business, your ministry, because you have a ministry, you impact people. And how do people get a hold of you? They want to connect with Aaron Qualls and you really just have a conversation, hang out, get some insurance, figure out how to be a girl dad.
Yeah.
How do they get a hold of you?
Oh, they call me, text me.
What's your number?
503-910-4394.
Yeah. And Aaron's a guy who'll call you back. So if you call him, he's calling. So
that's right.
Be ready to start 75 hard.
Yeah.
Well, hey, thanks again for being on the show this week. We appreciate you. We thank you to all the listeners each week that take the time to hear our stories. It's impactful. It impacts me every time. Like, I know Aaron, but I learned some things about Aaron that I can appreciate him even more. So I hope you do the same. Also, if you know somebody out there that has a story that they just want to share, we all have a story, and not everybody wants to share that story. But if you do want to share the story, I'd love to have you reach out. You can email me at buddyp7@gmail.com. You can find me on, Conversations with Buddy. You can go online and find that. But we look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great week, and happy fall. Thank you very much.